Good morning, everyone. Low here, EM3 Strength and Conditioning. We're about to head out and begin my day. It's a little bit of a later start for me, but that's all right. The sun's out today. It's a little warmer. I know I don't look like it's warm, but I have a fresh shaven head, so it's pretty cold on there. And the crazy part about that is that when you shave your head and you step into the cold, you know, you get goosebumps. So then with those goosebumps, you get stubble, and then it just starts from there. So I got my head covered. All right, so it's Thursday morning, birds be chirping and the dirt be dirting, and I be walking. Hope everyone's feeling good, having a good morning so far. If you aren't up yet, I hope when you do get up, you have a good morning. All right. We'll talk about fear. I was thinking about this last night because I had a hard time sleeping. I had an issue with my shoulder, and it's bothering me. So I have to sleep in a certain position in order for it to make it not hurt. But anyway, talking about fear, and I don't mean like fear like being chased by a lion or something like that. I'm talking that fear that you don't see as fear. All right, so I always got to use the fitness example. So fear, let's say, okay, I know a couple people, right, that I'm always like, this and that, you should get in shape, blase, on and on. And they're like, nah, why would I want to do that, or whatever. And sometimes I feel like it's the fear of change. That actually is something that I deal with. Or even, here's something that is crazy, but the fear of being successful, the fear of making more money, the fear of change, I guess, is the biggest issue. So why is it that we are so afraid to change? And I'm honestly not talking to you. I mean, I am talking to you guys, but I'm talking from personal experience, my experience. What makes me so afraid to be successful? What makes me afraid to do something different? What makes me afraid, to grab life by the horns, as they say, right? Why? And I guess it's a rhetorical question for you to answer for yourself and for me to answer for myself. But the answer is, and we all know the answer is, there's no need to fear. Maybe we fear the uncomfortable part, because change is not comfortable. So, like, let's say you decide to get fit and start caring about your health, about your fitness, about your capabilities. Well, that means you have to change a lot. Not just physically, but mentally. Not only physically and mentally, but like schedule-wise, which is probably, I think, the hardest part, because no one has time for anything, right? I don't got time. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. But we all have time, to watch that show, to binge watch a show. We all have time to go out to eat. We all have time to go to the bar. We all have time to do everything that's destructive. All right, now I'm not saying socializing and being around friends and people and things like that is detrimental or bad for you. No, it's the stuff that comes along with it. We're all guilty. You know what I mean? The alcohol, the bad food, maybe staying up late, not getting enough rest, things like that. And even though, how can I say, even though those things aren't scary or whatever, you know, in order for you to make changes, in order for you to be a healthier, stronger, fitter person, you have to either negate a lot of that stuff or really hone it in, as in, like, you know, control it, you know, try not to drink too much, try not to go out and eat a lot, not because the food is bad or stuff like that, but because other things can happen. For instance, again, staying up late. Again, yeah, the food part, but usually what happens when we go out to eat is we'll eat something good and then we'll start nibbling on the bullshit. All right, you have to change that. And that can be difficult for some people, because that means if you're not going to go out and get your food, now you got to cook your own food. And to me, not a big deal. To others, it might be a big deal. You know, it's silly, but the amount of people that cannot cook for themselves is amazing to me. Amazing. But anyway, back to the lecture at hand. Fear. I guess the problem with fear is that we have one type of fear, and that's like, oh, I'm scared of something. Like, literally, you know, shiver me timbers, right? Really cold. I mean, not cold. Really scared, shivering, like fear of something, as opposed to fear of an idea. Usually, someone. If you're having an ideological talk with someone and you disagree, in that disagreement, or not the disagreement, in the denial part of whichever ideology you're speaking on, there's a level of fear. Fear maybe because you don't understand. Like they say, we fear what we don't understand. Not that we're sitting there like, oh, I don't understand it. You know, but you fear what you don't understand. But that fear is manifested in a different way. Maybe anger, or, you know, lashing out, denial. But we can't fear, because fear is the mind killer. All right, fear is that little death. All right, and it will come for you, but you gotta let it pass. And once it passes, all that left is you. I'm paraphrasing from the Litany of Fear from Dune, which is an awesome little litany. You should definitely check it out, read it, ponder on it. But, you know, I have my own fears, and it's like, one of my fears is I'm afraid of my own success, and sometimes I feel like I stand in my own way. I can't get out of my own way in order to let myself be as successful as I'm supposed to be, out of fear. And it's crazy because I'm not, you know, it's like, where does it come from? Where does this fear of, you know, that's like, I'm afraid of being too cool, or I'm afraid of being too wealthy, or I'm afraid of being XYZ. And I think maybe it's the fear of change. Like, I always, you know, say, you know, I would much rather be wealthy than famous, because rich and famous, wealthy and famous people do crazy shit. Like really, really craziness. And then makes me think like, what is it about being that wealthy or being that well off that makes people do crazy stuff? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess like they say, money does change you. But good Lord, that much? You know, and it's like, I feel like if I was super famous and super this and super that, I'd be wasted. I would be, I don't know. Honestly, if I were like that, if I were super famous, I would be probably fucked up on drugs and this and that, mainly because I don't like the limelight. I don't like the spotlight. I don't mind having people's attention, but I don't, I wouldn't want to be bothered wherever I go and things like that. So, I know if I was that popular, famous, wealthy, so on and so forth, I would have big, big issues. Especially, where I am in my life right now, because, I know for a fact I'm not ready to deal with that. I'm not ready to deal with, mo money, mo problems kind of a thing. Because even with no money, you got mo problems. Feel me? But, yeah, fear. We must not fear. Although it's hard, man. It comes in many forms. And you never know how you're gonna react to it. So I guess my advice is, what would my advice be about fear? Because I don't think I have any good advice. You know what? I'm going to leave it there. I don't have any good advice about fear. So why don't you leave me some tips on fear? What do you fear? And again, I'm not talking about like, oh, there's a rabid dog outside or whatever. I'm not talking about that. What do you fear that doesn't make you scared? That doesn't scare you? See what I'm saying? So it's not a object. It's not a situation. It's like, when you think of getting ahead, what is that obstacle that's holding you back? What is that personal obstacle in your mind, in your life, in your heart that's holding you back? That is the fear that I'm talking about. Okay? Not fear of stuff and things, but fear of your own, a fear of your own, I guess, that you carry inside you that you may not have the answer to. And I feel we all have something. We all have many somethings inside that we are afraid of when it comes to ourselves. So I'm gonna leave it there. Fear. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? Why are you standing in your own way? Why can't you get out of your own way? Why can't I get out of my own way? Why am I always the first person to get in the way of my own success? Like, seriously, why? Does that happen to you? It happens to me. It happens to me. And it happens to me a lot. And I want to kick myself in the ass every single fucking time, because I'm like, why? Right? Why can't I get out of my own way? Why can't I sit there and say, you got this. Just go for it, bro. You got this. Good morning, Evan. I always see your morning videos, man. Very, thank you is all I'm going to say. Thank you, man. Because, dude, you're like, you're like the sun in the morning, man. You put your video out there and you're smiling, you're having a good time. That's what's up, man. Thank you for spreading those good vibes, Evan. That's what's up. But yeah, back to it. Just something to think about. Fear. Why do you stand in your way? Why do I stand in my own way? And I'm gonna leave it there. Something to think about. Something to ponder about. Something I struggle with all the time. So If you struggle with that, man, give me some thumbs up, give me some love, let me know, because we need to know. I honestly, truly believe that when it comes to mental health and things like that, which this has a lot to do with it, we as a people, as human beings, need to know that we are not alone in this. All right, that we are all struggling. All right, your situation is not unique. All right, you are human. I am human. We, as humans, get angry, upset, depressed, anxious. It's part of the human experience, and we all need to. Good morning, Vernay. Good to see you. Hi, hi, hi. We need to tell others about how we feel. We need to talk amongst our friends about how we feel. Men, you need to talk to your friends about how you feel. Because we need to know, I need to know that I'm not the only one going through this. Because that's what it feels like. Especially, you see people, posting and this and that, and everyone's like, everyone's life looks so great. So much better than yours. So much better than mine. Everybody, look at the car he's driving. Oh, they just bought this. Oh, this. Oh, that. Blah, blah, blah. And here I am, driving a car that's 15 years old, and, because my daughter gave it to me. Don't get it twisted, boy. I'm proud of that shit. Why am I proud? Because, one, I did enough in my daughter's life to have her think about me. And, there is nothing better than when your kids give you a gift. That is the most wonderful feeling in the world. But anyway, we need to talk about this, everybody. We need to let each other know that we are all going through this. We are all depressed. We are all anxious. We're all stressed out about something. Don't keep it to yourself. Tell others. Let them know that I know you are also stressed. And the more we talk about it to each other, not necessarily to the fucking therapist, nothing against the therapist, but if we talk to each other, I feel like then the stigma of mental health will come down because it becomes normalized. You know what I'm saying? It becomes like, oh shit, that person is going through the same thing as me. No, hold up. That whole group of people over there is going through the same bullshit as me. And in some way, you should feel good about that. Not because of their suffering, but to know that you're not alone. You are not alone. I am here with you, though you're far away. All right, you see what I'm saying? You're not alone. You are not alone. I'm not alone. Nobody is alone in this. We are all humans. We all go through this. So don't fear. Fear is the mind killer. All right. Approach your problems, approach your situations with couth, calmness. Be objective. Look at all angles, which is hard to do because you have your way of thinking, and it's hard to expand that. All right. Don't be afraid of changing. Get out of your own way. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to myself right now. All right. Get out of your own way, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm not a big dude, but when I stand in my own way, I'm a big fat motherfucker. And I'm just like, dude, like what the, like the guy, the old cartoons, the dude with the big tall hat you sit in the movie theater. Then you ask him to take off his hat and then he has a big fro under there. That's what I feel like when I'm in my own way. So that's enough for today. And we'll do this again tomorrow morning. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Do not fear. Fear is the mind killer. And, okay, that's a weird number. Looks very foreign. It's 5259311311829. What country code is 52? If anyone knows what country code 52 is, let me know, because I just got a call with plus 52 in the front. All right, y'all. That's it. Do not fear. Get out of your own way. Talk to each other. Listen to each other. Know that you're not alone. Fitness helps. Fitness helps. And yeah, that's it. Have a good rest of your day. And yeah, no doubt, Callie. I figured it was a telemarketer, but good Lord, from where? And not only that, it's 6:41 a.m. You know what I mean? So, what the fuck country could they be calling from? That would be, well, I guess Europe is a little ahead. Anyway, whatever. Sorry, Europe is a continent, not a country. I misspoke. I apologize. All right, there it is. EM3 Strength and Conditioning. Don't forget, we're right here on Main Street, Northampton, chilling, hanging out, changing people's lives, spinning round and round in circles. And yeah, man, love to see you here. All right. The biggest thing about us is that, you know, we really care. I really care about the people that are here. You know, we really get to know everyone here. We know them by name. Like a little fam. I hate that fit fam shit. I hate that I don't know, word or whatever. But yeah, that's it. Do not fear, for fear is the mind killer. I cannot repeat that enough times. What up, Will? What are we doing today? It's Thursday. Thirsty Thursday, I guess. It's gonna be a nice day. I don't know, maybe I'll light a fire. I'm not sure we're supposed to, but you just throw some steak on that fire and then it's all legit. All right, so there it is. We will see you tomorrow morning. Again, if you have issues standing in your own way, just comment. Let me know, man, because again, it feels like I'm the only one. Like I'm the only failure in this world. And I know that's not true because I can look around and see people worse off than me. So I am thankful for everything I have, you know, but I do need to get out of my own way. So get out of your way so you can be all you can be, even without being in the army, right? But for those of you who go in the army, that's great. I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying. All right, y'all, that's it. EM3, Strength and Conditioning. All day, baby, all day. Oh, I got a slow connection, apparently. Here we go. All day, EM3, Strength and Conditioning.